I'm Makia, and you're listening to Hearts in Dramaland.
We don't talk anymore. We don't talk anymore. We don't talk anymore like we used to do. We don't love anymore. What was all of it for? We don't talk anymore like we used to do. We don't talk anymore.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Hearts in Dramaland. So, if you are new to this podcast, hi, welcome. This is a podcast that I started over 4 years ago, or about 4 years ago, with my sister. By the intro, I no longer am doing the podcast with my sister. She's currently busy adulting and doing her thing, so she can't really keep up with K-pop and dramas as much to participate in the podcast. That's part of the reason why the podcast has kind of been away for almost 3 years. Also, around the time that she started back school is also around the time I kind of pulled away from Dramaland a little bit as well. So I really couldn't go forth with it. And to be honest, Ashley didn't necessarily want me to do the podcast without her at first. And I didn't want to do it without her as well. Kind of just wanted to wait and see when we could do it again. And it just never came about. After a while, she did tell me that I could go ahead and continue the podcast without her, because who's knows when she'll be able to come back, especially with being in school. And I can't fault her for that. I applaud her for being back in school and doing her thing. But I'm still here, stuck in Dramaland, hearts are fluttering again because of new dramas that are coming out, which I will be reviewing during this podcast. Now, initially when me and Ashley did this podcast, we talked about K-pop, we did games, and we reviewed K-dramas. Since I'm kind of doing this by myself, I kind of wanted to reformat it a little bit again. So if you have been here all this time and you haven't left us, even though we haven't been posting in, like I said, almost 3 years, welcome back and thank you for staying. But if you are not been here before and you're new, welcome. Hit that subscribe button and stick around, and I want you guys to hold me accountable in the comments to make sure that I continue to do this podcast. If you cannot tell by the title, I will be reviewing Lovers of the Red Sky. Ooh, I'm almost stumbling over the name. But I want to kind of reintroduce myself because it's been so long since I've done this podcast. Like I said in the intro, my name is Makia. I am stuck in Dramaland. I've been into K-dramas since maybe 2009-ish, I believe. Around that time, I kind of started with my very first Korean drama, Coffee Prince, which is usually kind of a lot of people's gateway drama. There's kind of a variation depending on what time you started watching K-dramas, but if you started around the time I did, Coffee Prince is probably usually yours. So that's why I started, and I started just watching one at a time. And we'd go through the episodes a couple days at a time and then be done. And then when I finished my first one, I went on to Boys Over Flowers, and then went on to after that one, and I was snowballing into the marathon queen that I became, where I could easily marathon through a drama in a couple of days. Then I went into watching dramas that were currently airing versus watching dramas that I already had completely finished airing. And then I started a Tumblr blog where I posted my reviews and my love of K-pop, because a couple years after I got into K-dramas, I got into K-pop because algorithms on YouTube, to be honest, they actually suggested Big Bang. No, I was already watching Korean drama outs videos, like the fan-made videos, or even just the videos for the songs for K-dramas, and it suggested that I watch a Big Bang video, and I was like, well, I'll check it out. I mean, I like the songs that are in K-dramas, so why not watch actual K-pop artists? And then that snowballed into a whole effect of me loving K-pop as well, and K-hip-hop and K-R&B. So I love the entire kind of spectrum of Korean entertainment, including Korean variety shows and reality shows. I'm not too much into reality and variety as of much. I mean, the main one I still somewhat watch every once in a while are Running Man and Return of Superman, but I mainly kind of watch the clips now because I've kind of drifted away from that show, not unintentionally, just a lot of the kids that I initially watched it with the Return of Superman have left the show, so my heart hasn't connected with the new ones. Not that there's anything against them, I just kind of stopped watching, so I kind of watched clips on YouTube, and that's how I kind of still enjoy the show now. But as for K-dramas, yeah, they're still kind of pulling at my heart here and there. Actually, I still wanted to keep the name Hearts in Dramaland because, like, I wanted to make this more of a discussion type podcast. So if you're watching the drama that I'm currently reviewing, please go ahead and leave your discussions and stuff in the comments down below to continue the discussion, because Ashley is not watching dramas, and I currently don't really have any close friends that are co-workers that watch dramas. I don't really have anyone to discuss the particular dramas with, so please go ahead, if you're watching it, like I said, continue the discussion with me so I have someone to chat back and forth with about my love of whatever drama I'm currently watching. Anyway, also, like, even though I really won't go into reviewing K-pop as much, I still will throw in a discussion here and there because I'm still supporting my faves. Like I mentioned, Big Bang is one of my favorites. Even though 21 is no longer together, the members have officially all left YG. Woo! So hopefully they will all continue to prosper. CL is out there doing her thing. She's had like a pre-release to her album that's getting ready to come out. She put out a few songs last year. Like, I'm just so happy that she is back. She deserved all of this. Once 21 disbanded from YG, like, I wanted her to actually fully get the solo that she deserved, and she never got that. And I not to be surprised, to be honest, because 21 didn't get the shine that they deserved either. But now the members, like I said, are all left YG, and I'm hoping that they all continue to prosper and grow outside of being YG. As for Blackpink, like, if you guys are not new, you know that me and Ashley are big Blinks here. We supported Blackpink from the beginning. We watched them grow into the artists that we are, and we were rooting for all of them to finally get their solos. I think the last time we did this podcast, I think Jennie had been at the time the only one who had gotten a solo, but now it's been a while, and luckily this year we finally got solos for Rose, My Bias, and Lisa, who has officially become my bias wrecker with her solo debut, because girl killed it. It so fit her. Rose, I definitely loved her solo, even though she's my bias. The songs, I like them, but they didn't hit me like Lisa's songs hit me. But Rose's songs fit her. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, all of their solos fit them, but Lisa definitely fit more of my style of K-pop that I really like and gravitate toward to. But Rose's stuff was definitely still good. Just not the typical my go-to type of songs that I would listen to. It's still on my list to play, my playlist that I'm constantly listening to as of lately. But it's not like, ooh, let me go listen to that right now to get me in the mood to do whatever. And I think that's really it for K-pop. I don't really pay too much attention to third generation artists. No offense to them, they're all very talented, but my heart is kind of with second generation K-pop artists. So like the Big Bangs, the 21s, the Beast that is now called Highlight, who else? Winner, like artists like that. Well, Winner's kind of more third generation. Winner and Blackpink are kind of more third generation, but they're kind of in the middle-ist to me. Middle-ist in the middle A era, but in between second and third generation, but they're probably more leaning toward third generation anyway. Like artists on those levels, but there are some new ones out there that they've had some catchy songs that I paid attention to. But I still, like I said, my heart is waiting for a lot of my second generation artists to finally get their comebacks that they deserve. But this pandemic is kind of holding some of them, I feel, back, but hopefully they will all be back soon. And also military leave has also held some of them back as well. And I think that's, yeah, like I said, that's it really all I have to discuss with K-pop. So like I said, it is called Hearts in Dramaland anyway, so I kind of just still wanted to focus more so on that. So now that I've got my little K-pop discussion out of the way, let's move on to the main show, the K-drama that actually pulled me back into really wanting to do this podcast. And to be honest, I'm still kind of nervous, and I actually recorded this whole podcast already. And when I was editing back, I kept saying, this sounds so much like a recap. This doesn't sound much like me giving my actual review of the drama. And I was like, and I kept doing that. I finished editing it and I still rendered it. And I was like, I'm not happy with it. And I didn't want to upload it and not be happy with it after so long of not even posting. So this is my second time running through this podcast, but hopefully this time I will actually just mainly focus on the review and not give you guys a scene by scene recap of 6 episodes. So when I initially recorded the podcast, I recorded it after episodes 1 through 4 were already up. I was a little behind, yes, but I was like, it's cool. I had literally started it right after I think episode 3 was up. I didn't know at the time that it was airing on Monday, Tuesday. Like, I knew the basis of the drama, the synopsis, and who was in it, but I didn't know what days it was airing or anything like that. I just knew where it was going to be posting it, and I watch all my dramas on Viki because that is the only place to legally watch them at the current moment that I know of that has an app that I can watch off of multiple devices. I'll put it out there because I know there's other places most likely, but it's what I can watch them off multiple devices. Anyway, so I started it and I was like, okay, I made it easily through the 4 episodes, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna record the podcast, and then I did that. But then, like I said, by the time I got it done and rendered, because your girl still works, I'm out here at Whole Adulting too. But so by the time I got it rendered, it was already time for 5 and 6 to air. And by this point, that's when I realized, oh, it airs on Monday and Tuesday. I thought it was a weekend drama, so I thought that I was getting it done in time for the new episodes on Saturday and Sunday. But anyway, so digress. So because I wasn't happy, we're gonna do episodes 1 through 6, and it was actually a good time because it is actually the Korean Thanksgiving. I believe if it's not this week, I'm thinking it's this week. That's why there's no new episodes. So Chuseok is this week, so there will be no new episodes of Lovers of the Red Sky. So we will have to sit for another week before we get new episodes, which is slightly upsetting because the way episode 6 ended. I'm just ready for more. But anyway, I'm just gonna marathon 1 through 6 again until we get new episodes. So let's begin my review of Lovers of the Red Sky. Alright guys, so Lovers of the Red Sky is a Sejjuk drama. I'm hoping I'm saying that correct. I clearly not saying anything right because my words are just not coming out correctly. I hope I'm saying that right. I am learning Korean, but my lessons have definitely slacked off a whole lot. So I'm trying my best to to say the words that I do know in Korean correctly. But hey, if you know that I'm saying it wrong, please do not charge it to my heart. I'm trying, and I'm going to try my best to get back into my lessons. Anyway, like I said, it's a Sejjuk or historical drama that stars a child star that I watched early on in my days of watching dramas. I think she's actually the first child star in a historical drama that I watched, and it's Kim Yoo-jung. And oh my gosh, this is actually my first time watching her as an adult star, and her skill level has not changed. It's definitely grown with her. The male lead for the drama is An Ho-sop, and I've actually only seen him in one other drama, so this will be my first time actually watching him in the lead role. We also have the second lead, Gong Mong, who I actually have not watched in anything, but he's actually part of a kind of a actors idol group, if that makes sense. And I've watched the other members. I've seen him in the drama that his group did to introduce themselves, but I have not watched him in any of his solo work outside of his group. I've seen his other members. So this will be my first time watching him. The other, he's not really another lead. He is another lead, but he's not part of any love triangle or anything. He is just connected to the whole story. He is Mr. Kwak Shin-young, and this is my first time watching him play an evil character. I've always seen him kind of play the nice friend on the side, or someone close to the leads who was a nice side character. I've never watched him be someone evil, so it's nice to see him play something a little bit different in this drama. But anyway, so on to the drama. We start in a beautiful story in the backstory. And this is what I love about historical K-dramas. The scenery always so pretty, costumes are so pretty, the music, just the whole aesthetic of Seikju dramas are just beautiful. It does involve connection to the palace life, which I tend to shine away from with historical dramas at times, because it can kind of make the story somewhat predictable for me, because I've watched so many. Like, Seikju dramas are definitely my go-to when it comes to a certain aesthetic if I'm looking for it in dramas. So I love them. They're always beautiful. It's just when I'm in the mood for them, I'm just all for it. And so that's why this drama coming about is definitely it. And like I said, because the female lead is someone that I watched before, I was kind of ready, to be honest, which is a problem that I feel like a lot of child stars go through, and I hate to be the one to do it against them as well. But I watched her grow up a little bit, and then I think I watched her in a role as a teenager. But when she became the point of being in actual like lead adult roles, I was just not kind of ready to watch her be a female lead just yet, I guess. So I haven't watched any, but I think she's done at least 4 or 5 dramas as the female lead. So this is sadly my first time watching her, even though I loved her skills. I wasn't ready, and I feel bad because there's other child stars that I've already watched in lead roles. But maybe because this one I don't know. The chemistry that oozed in the little snippet teaser that I saw months ago, it definitely gave me feels that I was like, ooh, I might be ready to really do this, because this drama is giving me vibes that I want to be able to talk to somebody about. So it starts with the backstory of our 2 main characters. They're actually technically not even born when the drama starts. They're born in the process of the drama starting, but well, like I said, the cinematography for the drama is definitely very beautiful. And I love how the whole aesthetic of the ritual that they were doing at the beginning of the drama came about. Like, even the CGI of how they do. And that's the one thing I could definitely give Korean dramas. A lot of time the budget is there. Because when I say they have budgets for things, it comes off. Granted, I've seen some other historical dramas with a fantasy aspect to it that kind of can come off cheesy, but I feel like it's more of just because of its time that it came about is why it comes off cheesy, versus the newer fantasy dramas. Definitely, you can tell it's grown. I love the story of how the 2 main characters meet, because it's 16 episodes, the story is kind of actually flowing pretty well, which I did not realize when I started this. Just like I said, I went in with minimal information, the cast and the synopsis, so I didn't know how many episodes it was going to be, which is kind of odd, because usually when I research dramas when I'm gonna start, I kind of need to know like how many hours am I about to give away when I start dramas. I don't know, I guess because how it started, it gave me the vibe of 20, so I thought we were going to at least get like 2 episodes of the backstory, or at least of the main leads as kids, but it's only the first episode, which is nice because you get to the point in the gist of the story and things happen fast, but it's cool. It's fast, but it's not too much information that you can't kind of really get where things are going when things happen by the time the second episode, which is where we actually really meet our leads as adults. But the kids were super cute, and I don't know what it is about K-dramas, like kid actors always are just like chef's kiss when it comes to them acting skills and pulling that emotion out of you. And I don't know, I'll usually expect that, and I don't know how to explain it. I don't really assume or ship the kids at that point. Like, I know eventually when the adult actors show up that they're supposed to be the couple that I should be shipping to be together by the end of the drama. but I usually don't feel that when they're kids. Like I like the vibe. I could tell, okay, this is where they're getting, but I wouldn't say that the kid actors for this drama gave me that romantic vibe, but they had really good chemistry just even as kids. So I don't know, I feel like they vibed off each other very well, which is a test to their skills, and who knows, it may even be editing as well. But to me, they gave off lovely chemistry, which also transfers well into adulthood. Like I said, the teaser chemistry brought me to the drama for real. So, and they're separated quickly, like I said, because the backstory really only happens in the first episode. So they really only meet for one day and then they are separated. Of course, it has to be tragic and it's heartbreaking when they're always talking about, oh, let's meet up again, because of course they always have to say that let's meet up tomorrow or let's hang out on this day, and something happens on the day or the day before they're supposed to meet and they never meet again until they're adults. Why is that always a thing? I watch too many dramas that honestly a lot of times I feel like I can predict some story plot points, but some of them is actually just, it's the aesthetic of K-dramas and I look forward to some of them, so I'm not really too pressed about it. But long as I'm still entertained, that is all that matters. And like, this drama is definitely have been very entertaining so far, and I hope it continues for the next 10 episodes. The rest of the episodes after the kids are separated kind of really just introduce the princes, who one is technically part of our love triangle, of course, and then another is just, they're all kind of connected in a story that affects our main leads, which is always a thing too. Like, the main leads are usually either affected by adult shenanigans, which is technically, this is adult shenanigans as well, but also they are really affected because of the princess is doing, which I'm not interested in the princess story even 6 episodes in. To be honest, it's still very well acted. I don't know, I always kind of find certain dramas like that, even when I find modern ones, like if it involves too much of like the business politics of inside, like if it's a chaebol type story and it's, oh, who is fighting for the seat to be the next chairman, I'm just like, I'm so over that story, because it's always the same thing and I'm really over it. I'd rather just find other dynamics to watch. Not necessarily have to be romantic either. Like, I wish they could do romance and something else. Why is it always romance and business politics, or romance and royalty politics? Like, because usually that always just affects our main couple for no reason on end. But anyway, yeah, the rest of it, I'm interested. I watch it and pay attention because I'm not one of those people that kind of skips through episodes. I don't like doing that, because then you ask some questions later on, when if you clearly just watched the episode full through, you could have got some things figured out anyway. So I still pay attention and watching, but I'm not like sitting in with, cuddling my pillow like I am when the main couple is on screen, because for some reason their scenes definitely turn me into acting like I'm a high school girl watching love scenes for the first time and have to like kind of peek behind the pillow because it's so cute and it's so gushy, but it is what it is. So we on to episode 2, and this is where we finally meet our adult leads, like fully. Like, we get a snippet of them at the end of episode 1, but we fully meet them in episode 2. And like I said, this is my first time kind of really watching her be an adult, but I don't know why I hesitated so long to watch her in that role, because I was easy to just watch her be an adult character for once. I don't know why I struggled doing that, because she definitely, like I said, her skill has definitely grown along with the talent that she had when I watched her as a younger actress. So it's nice to see her in this, but then also, as we're going through episode 2, just all my old faves are just popping up across the screen. I'm like, oh, I know him, I know her. Like, there's so many side characters that actors I've known from my early days of watching K-dramas, that I'm so happy and excited that they're actually in the drama. So I know I think that's another reason why I like this drama so much, because there's so many actors in it that are near and dear to my heart from my early days of watching K-dramas that I kind of feel like I never really left. It's nice, yes, to get introduced to some new actors, because there are definitely some new ones in here that I have not seen in anything, at least not enough for me to really remember their face. They probably played minor characters in other dramas, but like I said, them recognizable faces, like the king, her teacher, the grand prince who's into arts, the art teacher that he is connected to, I know that actor as well. I even watched him on Return of Superman at one point. The aide for the male lead, Haram aide, I know him from a drama that I watched last year. So it's just like a lot of recognizable faces. So it's nice that I'm like, okay, I know these people. It's not a bunch of new faces coming in where I feel like I'm really freshly starting out on watching K-dramas all over again, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but sometimes it's nice to come in and know some of the actors, right off the bat. As for the male lead, like I said in the beginning, this is my first time watching him in a lead role, but the role that I watched him in for, I can't really say that he was part of a love triangle, because his character was too young for the female lead, so I knew it was not really something, but he had one of them older woman crushes, but I could see his lead potential from that drama, and I was like, it's not gonna be long before he's gonna be a lead actor. And he has, I think this is either second or third drama where he's actually like the lead, male lead. So, but this is my first time watching him actually be the male lead, and this role fits him. When I say it fits him, it fits him, and he looks gorgeous doing it. Like I said, the whole aesthetic of historical drama is definitely beautiful, but him in the role, how he looks, the eyes, his voice, it's just chef's kiss. Like, it's just, I don't know what others say. So I can't even get my words. I don't know what to say other than the looks are definitely helping me be even more interested in the drama. Like I said, I'm interested in the whole story and everything, but it's nice to have something pretty to look at on the screen. So after the kids are separated, it's been 19 years when we meet them again as adults, and I'm actually slightly confused how they are technically supposed to still be living in the same city where they met, if I'm remembering correctly. How they have not met in 19 years. I really want to know. Granted, I'm guessing because of their status, yes, that is probably harder for them to have not met. But I feel like 19 years is still a long time to have never run into each other at all. But I mean, tragedy does happen to Haram, so I'm guessing he was just not out and about, because when they initially meet as kids, he is sighted and she's blind. But when they are to meet again, they're kind of reversed. It was a curse that was given to Junkie, who is our female lead. I haven't really mentioned their names, and I'm gonna try my best to pronounce their names better, their actual character names better. She is born blind because of the curse that was given to her by a demon. And so when they actually meet, when they're, I think it says 9 years, so they're probably at 9, 10-ish around this time they meet. So they're born in the same day, so they're the same age. Then they meet, that's how they meet each other, and that's how they kind of connect to each other in a way. Like, that's how their memories are set up. He remembers her as being a blind girl that he helped and assisted and became really close with in a short amount of time, and she remembers him as this sighted boy that was the first to be really nice to her and gentle to her. So I was like, how are they gonna make that connection again when they're older? Because the tragedy that happens reverses the curse and makes Haram blind, and Chunky they makes her sighted. So it's like, it's complete opposite. She's gonna meet someone a man who is blind, and he's gonna meet someone who is sighted, and that's not how they remember each other. But there are moments that trigger some memories, and memories for the first time for Haram. So it kind of puts him into the point of thinking it's a possibility that that's her, but not before they kind of like really meet each other. Do he starts getting hints of the girl that he met when he was younger. So our female lead is actually using her talent, which she got from her father, who's actually connected to the past. Actually, both of their parents are connected to the whole shenanigans of how the drama starts out, but they're actually on the good side. But they're the ones who they're the ones who actually probably got the worst of whatever happened, of the punishment that kind of was delved out for the entire everything that happened when the drama started. Of course, and she's using that money to buy the medicine, like I said, and it's not a surprise that she is scammed out of that money. Like, I saw the red flags coming right away. I said, hold up, she get medicine in episode 2 already? And I said, either she's gonna get scammed or the medicine's not gonna work for her dad. It's one or the other. And she gets scammed, which is not surprising, but it is what it is. It also leads her to meet our male lead, but they not officially meet. They kind of are in the same building. They don't meet then. They have a moment then, but they don't like officially see each other because they're between the screen. I guess you're supposed to feel the moment. I didn't feel it as much, but because I'm like, how are you supposed to know y'all really met each other for a day? I guess they're trying to show like how intense their chemistry is. And also, to be honest, the story does kind of say that they're technically for each other. So they're supposed to be like that type of soulmate type of connection where they feel each other. And I kind of feel it because, like I said, the leads have chemistry and they definitely show off their skills with you feeling the emotion and kind of pulling you in. It's definitely nice. I was just like, can we just meet each other? Because I'm still running that teaser through my mind and I'm just ready for them to meet. But of course, we got to get through the playthrough of everything. And it's kind of actually nice how they do officially meet when they run into each other at the end of the episode. But it's a nice playthrough because it shows that, you know, he kind of sees what she's doing now. And then when they run into each other, he's kind of saving her and kind of understands her plight because he's kind of already heard not her whole situation, but what she is doing. It's so nice that pelican scene. It's like, oh yes, this is what I wanted. I didn't need them to meet in a public space with a bunch of people around. I loved the moment of them being kind of private in the pelican moment and like officially meeting and kind of the chemistry oozing off each other already, even though they're not really doing each other, but just having a simple conversation and she's kind of getting to know him a little bit. But then because of the ride in the pelican, they end up touching each other and it triggers his talisman that he was kind of given to protect him when he was younger, but it didn't protect him from being blind. That's what it was like. Samson, like you gave him this this talisman. It saved his life, I guess, so I shouldn't really be too mad. It protected him from dying, but he definitely didn't protect his eyes. It's all right though. It's all right. Like, cause like I said, they switch curses, so it's cool. To be honest, I'm still trying to figure the exact rules of this talisman because it's a butterfly on the back of his neck and it kind of triggers anytime they actually have physical contact, but like skin to skin contact. And she like ends up rubbing his face. And I gotta say, the shock that was on his face definitely seemed genuine, like he was really surprised that she caressed his face like she did. That's how they kind of connect to each other again. But I also love that he instantly protects her. I forgot to even mention that. Like, he doesn't know too much about her. They run into each other. And because he's blind, of course, they have, you know, heightened other senses. He kind of remembers, does he? When she jumped in the pelican, I'm trying to remember. Looking back, I don't know if he's a gentleman anyway, so I think he saved her. But I'm trying to remember if he actually remembered that he actually kind of heard her speak before when she jumped in the pelican. No, it's the paint. The paint smell on her kind of let him know that she wasn't someone that he needed to be worried about, I guess, in the moment. Anyway, moving on. He's a gentleman, like I said, so it's not that big of a deal. They have the most wonderful little reunion. I feel like there's a lot to Haddam that we don't really know. Like, we're learning, even as they're adults, we're learning so much more about Chunky's side, her family and everything, even though she has a minimal family. Harum actually doesn't have any family by the time he's an adult, which is just tragic. Like, I feel like both of them have kind of sad backstories, but his just is just he lost everything, and just in a matter, I think, of a couple of days, he lost everything, and I'm just like, oh goodness. Anyway, but when we come to episode 3, to be honest, I enjoyed the episode. Let me make that clear before I say what I'm about to say. I enjoyed the episode. It was definitely good. Had good moments, good scenes. But when the episode ended, I was just like, that's it? Like, I felt like there was no, like, real story progression. Like, yes, stuff happened, and we learned a little bit here and there about some other things. Or, I wouldn't say learned anything. We met new characters. But I don't feel like we learned anything new that would help us for plot progression. Which is not necessarily bad, but I was like, we already kind of getting a filler episode this early in. Which is kind of a red flag in dramas for me. Like, episode 3 and we're already kind of getting a filler episode, and it's only 16 episodes. But like I said, I definitely still enjoyed the drama. It kind of, I guess, because the whole episode is called Mawang, which is the name of the demon that is inside Harum, and the whole episode is kind of him out and on his rampage, and that demon is powerful. So there's a new character that we see, a tiger, who's actually another wonderful child actress who I've not met, but did very well in her role in that short amount of time that she was on screen. We got a lovely fight scene. Like I said, the cinematography and the CGI of this drama is just chef's kiss, top notch, very well. Like, even Harum's eyes, like, I know it's context and stuff, but I don't know, they naturally fit him, even though they're an odd color. They're supposed to be red, but to me they give off a more purplish reddish color than just like flaming red, which is actually more of what Modern's eyes are. But those actually look more like they're CGI'd on versus actually him. Granted, we only seen the eyes when he was transforming. No, he hasn't. No, I don't know. I just like his eyes when Harum is in his normal form, even though I'm waiting, hoping by the end of the drama that he does get his sight back. If he doesn't, I guess it is. But I feel like that's what they kind of said at the beginning of the drama, that they're going to have to reverse the curse, which is kind of sad for Chunky, because that means she's going to have to lose her sight all over again. Or maybe they both can be sighted. I don't know. I feel like, but both of them, both characters, in their time of not being able to use their eyes, didn't seem to let it hold them back, which is a nice touch. I like she was strong as a blind 9-year-old girl. She stood up for herself when it needs to be. She stood up for her father, but she definitely was someone who had some trauma and emotional hurt and wanted some friends. But what child doesn't? So, but she's definitely made the friends as she's older. I feel like even if she was still blind, she would have made probably the same friends that she has as an adult if people gave her a chance. But you know, kids are mean, so it is what it is. But Harum in his demon stage, to be honest, I don't know, something about the costume seemed campy to me. Not like overly campy, like maybe like a 10%-ish campiness to it. But I mean, the rest of the time that he's on screen, I don't know, I think maybe it was the hair. I feel like that's the only thing that really bothered me about his entire costume for that time. I don't know. It just seemed, I don't know how to explain it. Like, he looked good everywhere else. Just the hair bothered me for some odd reason. It is what it is. I feel like this drama was completely pre-recorded before it started airing. So his look may not change. It is what it is. And if it's fully pre-recorded, that is actually very, I would say very rare. It's not as common for K-dramas. They tend to get maybe a couple of episodes in the bucket and knocked out before it actually starts airing. But like I said, I saw the teaser for this months ago, like months ago. I feel like earlier in the year. So I feel like at least more than half of this, if not all of it, may have actually been pre-recorded. Like I said, episode 3 wasn't a whole lot of stuff. It wasn't plot progression. It was an enjoyable episode, but it wasn't plot progression. Episode 4 is when everything is just really kicking into high gear, because this is when our couples really meet. No, they're not. I wouldn't say they really meet, because Haram is kind of passed out, and then when they are actually able to both talk to each other, it's only, I think, like 5 and 10 minutes in between, because he's passed out most of the episode, because homeboy has to recover from being possessed and killing some people, which is slightly bad, because I feel like if he realizes that he actually killed people while he was possessed, I think that's something that's going to bother him as well. But of course, he has his own plight of trying to get revenge for his family loss, which rightfully so, because he didn't ask for this. Y'all brought the shenanigans to his house, and y'all let him deal with the trauma and not be there to support him for real. Well, actually, no. He's gotten some type of support, because the prince calls him the richest man. And I'm like, wait a minute, hold up, the richest man? Say what? I know there's levels to class systems, and especially based on attire. But he's considered the richest man now, so he's definitely someone who's got money and considered of high noble class. Well, he also has high government ranking too, so that might be another reason. I don't know, like how he got to his position is a whole thing I feel like needs to be explained, because he has private conversations with the king, and I'm just like, I don't trust this king, because to our knowledge, he's the one that ordered the death of Haram's dad. So the mere fact that he's keeping him close, I'm just like, I'm watching you, sir. And the actor who's playing the king is someone who I've seen play both good and bad roles. So I'm like, which one? I'm still trying to figure out which one he is. To be honest, I can't completely fault him on certain things, but killing people who helped protect Joseon along with you and doing it in secret is like, sir, can I really trust you and trust that you're going to protect our leads? Like, I don't know how much I really believe that. Just want to put that out there. But he seems to be going through his own demons as well, because I feel like he's just constantly suspicious. But I feel like because of how the initial trying to get rid of our demon Mawang, how it ended and it scared him, I think like he's never going to forget that. And that's something that's, I feel like it kind of controls how he runs his Joseon. Which, like I said, I can't completely fault him for, but like I don't trust him. Like we've got to get some more episodes in before I'm just like, I guess he's going to protect our leads when it comes down to it. And I don't feel like Haram trusts him either, because technically, even though he was blind when he heard some of these things, I feel like he definitely heard the people who was killing his dad mention the king. So that's another thing that has me wondering, like, what are you doing, having these conversations? But I realize homeboy is stirring the pot, and I love that that's what his plan is really kind of consisting of. He's not trying to force anyone's hand. He knows the players, and he knows how the players are going to act. So he is calculating on what the players were going to do with certain things and certain information, and he's learning when to throw that information out there, when to stir it, when to keep it back and hold off. And I love that. I love a smart male lead. I'm not saying he probably won't have his setbacks, but I feel like because we're meeting him when his plan is kicking off, that means he's had 19 years, I'm assuming 19 years to plan his revenge and to make sure he takes out the proper party the proper party that took out his family. I feel like our leads are the most affected by the stuff, but they know the least amount of information about why their life is the way that is. And that is just sad, because it's part of the story. Because if they knew information, I don't know, we would really granted we probably have a full-on revenge drama, because who knows, both leads may be going after to do that. But like I said, they had their little episode 4 wasn't a whole lot of scenes of them together, but the scenes that they did have together, like I said, the chemistry is there, and it's fire, it's burning, it's there. I'm ready for some real romance scenes. So I think that's another thing. I think maybe because she has really good chemistry with her male lead, I have no issue watching her as an adult. I don't know, just for some reason I was put off from watching her as an adult. actress, and I don't know why, and I feel ashamed that I didn't do it. Anyway, but also what I love, I forgot to mention, is that when he finally wakes up again at the end of the episode and he asks her name, this is what I was wondering about. I was like, they met up as an adult and they've had a couple moments together. He's had some flashes of her reminding him of the girl that he met when he was younger, but neither one of us has had no inclinations of actually knowing that they are, I hate to say childhood loves, but childhood friends that wanted to meet up again. And when he asks her name and she finally gets it out after her being shy and not feeling able to get it out, when he's like, oh, you have the same, he didn't say it, but his thought is that he has the same name as his childhood friend. In the scene that was played, I was just like, oh, he remembers her. And I love that he remembers first, and he does wonder how she's always unable to see, but he doesn't have time to worry about that because, like I said, he's got his revenge that he wants to do. Because of course that's how it is. It's finally time for them to enact the revenge, and they meet up with the person that they're supposed to be in love with. He's gonna push her away, even though we know as viewers that they technically need each other to complete what they need to complete. And he's gonna try to keep her away because he's on a revenge, and she's gonna be his weakness or distract him, or both. She's gonna be one or the other or both, and he doesn't need any of it because he wants to do his revenge. And I can't say that he doesn't seem like his revenge is ending with him possibly dying, but maybe. No, yes. As I said that, I'm like, no, his line definitely says that he's already a dead man, but I kind of took that as a sense of more, he's a dead man because he lost his sight. But now that I'm really thinking about it, it could be him saying because he's doing his revenge, that he may die at the end of his revenge, which is a high possibility because his revenge involves the royals. So he probably is thinking that he's going to be dead by the time he commits his revenge. So, oh, I'm sorry. That just came into my mind. I'm just like, why did I have to think that? I wanted to just think he's just thinking that because he's blind. So once he's sighted, he's not going to push her away. But he's also probably not going to get his sight to the very end of the drama, which is not a big deal. Because like I said, he's agile, and watching him and just his nobleness is just gorgeous. I don't know. It just seems like this character is him. He definitely made this character him. I know it's based off a novel, but I have not read it, so I can't really compare, but I just feel like he really fits this role. And then this is where we are on the most recent episodes, episode 5 and 6. Whew, I've been rambling for a long time. I didn't think this podcast was going to be this long, but I'm sorry. We had 6 episodes to get through, but we're here. We're near the end of it where I kind of want to get my reviews. And I hope you're still enjoying and still sticking around for this. And you've got your comments and your suggestions and stuff you want to talk about in the comments below. But anyway, so that's kind of how episode 5 and 6 is mainly the contest. But there are some moments in between with our main couple that is lovely. I kind of feel like they're using the contest to kind of talk to each other without talking to each other, which is a nice touch. Like they're showing like how well our couple is connected without necessarily having them have blatant conversations with each other. That seems to be a running theme they're doing throughout the drama, but I want scenes with them together because they're nice together. Like I said, that chemistry is fire, so I want them together. So like I said, episode 6 deals with round 3 of the competition, and at this point the Grand Princess actually called out Chunky on her business of copying traditional artwork or famed artwork because he found her signature, and he's told her like, you're very talented, it's just sad that you're using your talent for something like that. But he doesn't understand her plight and why she's doing what she's doing. But throughout the competition, she kind of puts all her cards on the table, letting everyone know the reason why she's doing what she's doing. And even though she does that, her teacher still wants her to not participate because her dad went crazy. I feel like he knows the gist, but I feel like he doesn't know the full reason why her dad went crazy. which is fine because it still gives him cause enough to want to protect her and keep her away from, like, he's allowing her to paint, but I think he's trying to keep her away from anything connected to the palace and painting, which is valid because he doesn't want her to turn on, like, he definitely cares for her like a daughter, and she looks at him as another father figure, I feel like. But he has his reasons, but she also has her reasons as well, so I can't fault him on that. Sometimes you really can't let logic get in your head too much sometimes with watching dramas, because it ruins the, what is the word I'm looking for? The immersion into the drama. Like, it kind of does ruin that if you try to put too much logic into things sometimes. So I try not to do that, but sometimes it's like, that's a long time. Like, I keep coming to that. That's a long time to not run into each other and still be in the same area. Despite, I know class difference does make a difference when it comes to meeting each other, especially in that time. But like I said, 19 years is a long time. How did y'all not meet? But anyway, who cares? They're meeting now and it's cute because 19 years, like I said, I keep saying is a long time, but at this point, they're almost 30. The last time y'all met, y'all were barely 10. So, you're about 30-ish or about 28, 29, around that time frame in Korean Reckoning. So I'm just like, no, because in Korean Reckoning, y'all technically even be older than that, because I'm counting on how we count age here. So yes, y'all would actually be considered 30 in Korean Reckoning at this point. So y'all grown and just now meeting each other again, but go off. Do what it is. It is what it is. But they're having this moment is when I'm just like, this is when I felt like a complete high schooler. I had my pillow watching the moment because I saw it coming. They did the whole moment of him touching her face like she had touched his face in the past, and they kissed, and the kiss, I was flabbergasted. Like, I was like, oh my gosh. And as their first kiss and then their reunion kiss, it was nice. I was like, because usually the kisses come off kind of fake and I can kind of tell, but to me, I was just like, my eyes, oh my gosh, you guys this is a lovely kiss. And so that means also we're probably not going to get a kiss for a long time. But he doesn't get fully triggered this time, which is confusing because this was a more deeper skin touching than it was when they were in the Pelican. So I'm just like, whatever, but it's fine. I was like, why are we ruining this lovely moment? We had this beautiful scene of them reconnecting and both of them realizing who they are, and it's just ruined by Ma Wang. Thanks. He kind of says, I'm not the guy you are. Bruh, you just repeated y'all whole conversation. If y'all didn't need y'all, and it's a conversation y'all had in private with no one else around. So ain't no way you can play all you want to. And I'm glad that she doesn't even believe that. She lets him have it for that moment, but she's like, in her head, she's like, I don't believe you. I know who you are, and I'm going to do what I need to do to protect you. She doesn't necessarily say that, but that's how Chunky's character is. I can tell she's going to do what she needs to do to protect him, because she tried to protect him way before she even knew who he was. So that's what I love about our couple. They're both type of people that protect someone who's being attacked or someone they feel needs help, despite them not necessarily being the biggest, strongest, or whatever. Oh my goodness, I cannot wait for new episodes. And then I checked to see how many days, because usually Vicky will tell you how many days to the next episode. And I see 11. I said, wait a minute, why is it 11? It's only a week. It's supposed to be a new episode next week. Why? And this is when I figured out it's because of Chosuk. And I was like, oh, crap. But it's all right. I'm going to be just rewatching episodes 1 through 6 until we get some new episodes on Monday and Tuesday. I'm ready in here for it. But guys, I think I'm going to wrap up this little review of Lovers of the Red Sky here. I'm definitely enjoying it. Like I said, I am not afraid to rewatch. I'm also someone who loves rewatching episodes that I enjoy anyway. I may have rambled on and repeated myself too much, but this is my first one back in a long time. I hope that I didn't bother or annoy you guys too much. And I hope you enjoyed my review of Lovers of the Red Sky. And you have your comments that you want to put in and input and opinions you want to put in. Please join the discussion in the comments down below. Go and hit that like button because you know you want to. Subscribe if you haven't. And hit that bell button so you get notified every time I upload a new podcast. And until the next one, guys. Bye.
Talk anymore.